the sky we once knew. In a world that once forgot how to dream, one boy would rise beyond the clouds to remind the sky of its own light. Part 1. The Boy Who Watched the Horizon. On the edge of a coastal village lived a boy named Eren. He was 17, quiet, with wind-tousled hair the color of dusk and eyes that mirrored the sea. Each morning before the fishermen returned, he would climb the cliffs to watch the horizon breathe. He never looked down at the waves but up toward the endless expanse of sky. The villagers thought it strange, this habit of his to spend hours staring at clouds. But Eren believed the sky was alive, and that one day, his late father had been a sailor, a dreamer who once claimed to have seen light fall from the heavens, a feather made of the sun. Eren grew up listening to that story, and even after his father's ship never returned, the image never left him. He painted skies filled with wings and storms lit by fire. Then, one summer evening, as the tide pulled low and the wind turned warm and golden, something extraordinary happened. From beyond the horizon came a whisper, not of sound, but of memory, and with it, a feather of light descended from the clouds, spiraling gently toward the sea. Part 2. The Feather of Light. It landed near the cliff's edge, glowing softly against the rocks. When Eren picked it up, the air trembled. The sea grew still, as if listening. The feather's warmth spread through his hand, and the world shifted around him. Colors deepened, light slowed, wind bent toward. For a brief moment, he saw shapes in the sky, towering spires, bridges of gold, and islands suspended among the clouds. Then, as quickly as it came, the vision vanished, leaving behind a faint symbol on his palm, a mark shaped like a wing. That night, Eren couldn't sleep. He painted what he had seen, the luminous city above the world, until the stars faded into morning. But when the first light touched the canvas, something impossible happened. The paint shimmered and began to move. A current of air rose from the picture, lifting Eren from his chair and carrying him upward, beyond the cliff, beyond the clouds, into the forgotten sky. Part 3. The Lost City. When the wind released him, Eren found himself standing on a bridge of marble suspended in air. Below, the clouds rolled like silver oceans. Ahead stretched a vast city of ivory towers, tangled gardens, and crystalline waterways, Aerath, the legendary crown of the winds. The city was breathtaking, yet hauntingly silent. Statues leaned against walls cracked by time. Vines of light crept along deserted plazas, and echoes of laughter floated like ghosts in the breeze. Everything shimmered between life and memory. Eren wandered through the streets, tracing the worn symbols etched into stone. He could feel something pulsing beneath his feet, a faint, rhythmic beat, like a heart struggling to remember how to live. In the city's center rose a great crystal pillar, fractured and dim, the heart of Aerath. Above it drifted fragments of the sky itself, shimmering shards of what once was. Eren felt drawn to it, the way a tide returns to the moon. Part 4. The Memory of the Sky. As Eren explored, visions unfurled before him, faint, translucent echoes of the past. He saw people with wings of light soaring between towers, children playing in gardens that floated on air, lamps that burned with sunlight rather than flame, a civilization that once lived in harmony with the wind. But the scenes flickered, breaking apart like reflections in water. The city was dying, its heartbeat fading, and somehow Eren knew the mark on his palm had connected him to it. He climbed higher, through chambers filled with ancient mirrors and broken altars, until he reached a garden where petals glowed like embers. The air here was still, yet heavy with memories, a silence that felt alive. As he stood there, wind began to swirl. Feathers of light lifted from the ground, circling him slowly. He realized they were fragments of Aerath's lost memories, the dreams of its people scattered through time, and somehow they recognized. Part 5. The Journey of 3 Shrines. Across the city, 3 ancient shrines pulsed faintly in the mist. Eren felt drawn to them, each radiating a different kind of silence. He understood without words if he could awaken them, Aerath might remember itself again. The Shrine of Wind. This shrine stood atop a spiral tower where gusts howled like voices. As Eren climbed, the air thickened with visions of storms, of loss, of every failure he had ever carried. Each gust became a whisper of doubt, but he kept walking, eyes closed, feeling the rhythm of his heartbeat align with the wind. When he reached the summit, he raised the feather of light high. The storm gentled. The shrine awakened, a soft pulse spreading across the sky. The Shrine of Reflection. Far below, at the city's base, a tranquil lake mirrored the heavens. When Eren knelt by its edge, he saw not his face, but the faces of those he'd lost, his father, his village, the fragments of a forgotten world. He wanted to reach for them, but the water rippled, and he understood. Some memories are meant to guide, not anchor. The surface stilled, and the second shrine glowed awake, releasing a breath of silver light that rose into the air like mist. The Shrine of Dawn. The last shrine lay in ruins near the heart of the city, buried beneath fallen stone and the remnants of shattered dreams. Eren dug through dust and debris, his hands bloody, his breath shallow. He worked through the night as light faded, then returned again. When the first sunbeam broke through the cracks, it touched the shrine's surface. A golden spark flared, the final awakening. Part 6. The Heart of Aerath. The wind carried him back to the central pillar. Now the three shrines shone in unison, their light flowing through the city like veins of energy. Eren placed the glowing feather against the heart. The mark on his palm ignited, and warmth surged through his chest. The heart began to beat again, once slowly, then faster, pulsing with rhythm and color. The sky rippled above, clouds swirling in vast spirals of gold and violet. Towers mended, bridges reformed, flowers bloomed in silent applause. Aerath was breathing again, but the price of light was always memory. Eren felt his body growing weightless, his heartbeat synchronizing with the city's. He understood then that he had not been chosen to witness its rebirth. He was the bridge between the lost sky and the earth below. He smiled, closing his eyes as the wind lifted him upward. His form dissolved into 1,000 feathers of light, merging with the air, the city, the endless blue. Part 7. The Return of the Sky. At dawn, far below on the coast, the villagers awoke to a sky transformed. The clouds shimmered like glass, and the light danced in waves across the horizon. Children pointed in awe as the wind carried soft, glowing feathers down to the earth. No one knew where they came from, but those who held them felt something stir within, a gentle reminder of wonder long forgotten. And high above, the city of Aerath floated once more, bathed in radiance, silent yet alive. If one looked closely, they might glimpse a faint figure standing at its edge, a boy with wind in his hair, watching over the world below. Part 8. The Sky We Once Knew. Seasons passed. Fishermen said the winds had changed, warmer, kinder, as if guided by unseen hands. Artists began painting skies again, filling them with color and hope. Sailors who ventured far from shore claimed that at night, the stars formed the shape of wings, stretching across the heavens. They said that when the wind shifted just right, you could still hear a voice, faint, steady, carried by the clouds, a voice reminding the world to look up. And so the legend lived on, of a boy who reached for the forgotten sky and became part of it, teaching humanity once more the courage to dream. Because sometimes, the greatest journeys are not about reaching new worlds, but about remembering the sky we once knew. The end. Share in the comments what you thought of this story.